Hey everyone, this is Emily Gunn. I am presenting my Module 14 case study, Internet Use Violations, Threats over the World Wide Web. So we'll start with the problem identification and what do I know. Well, I do know that this is a very affluent school district with some well-to-do families and community members. The principal is Dr. Smith, been the principal for 9 years and was awarded Principal of the Year 2 years ago and is very well respected by teachers, parents, and students. I know that Miss Tate has 1 year of teaching experience, although she is very highly educated, and she teaches a specialized science course. Parents think that her expectations are too high and that the workload is excessive for their children. Ms. Tate has been spoken with about these issues, and she really hasn't responded to Dr. Smith's suggestions for increasing positive interactions with students and reducing the workload and student stress in her classroom. I know that recently an anonymous email was sent to Ms. Tate that had a link to a Facebook page that the final posting was, "Who wants Miss Tate to disappear?" Miss Tate reported it to Dr. Smith and basically saying that someone wants to kill her. Dr. Smith viewed the email or viewed the Facebook page, wants to know if there was a certain student who maybe is unhappy with her or they had some issues. Miss Tate immediately says, "Yes, it's William Hall. He doesn't like me, he makes snide comments, etc." What do I need to know? Well, I need to know if this Facebook page was created on or using school property or school computers, and who the email was sent from. And again, was it from a school email, school property, school computer? I need to know if it's William Hall himself. I need to know who it was. I need to know if it was a prank or a serious threat. I need to know if they want her to die or if they just want her to be fired or if they're just putting it out there like who wants her to go away from the school. And I really need to know what the school policy is regarding her disregard for directions from her principal and the school policy on dealing with internet-related threats. So the problem is that a threat was issued, or a prank, one of the two was issued to Miss Tate. It could possibly be a student, or it could be a parent, or a combination of all of the above. And at this point, there's no law enforcement involved and really no other district personnel involved, just Dr. Smith and Miss Tate. So, my proposed plan of action. First thing I would do come Monday morning is identify what my district policy is for involving other district stakeholders, also what the school policy is for students misusing school computers, school internet, all of those things. So I'd probably do that by getting out our policy handbook and contacting the superintendent. I feel like an issue of this magnitude would constitute the principal getting the superintendent involved. I would investigate if this email was sent and if the Facebook post was posted using school property like a computer or at the school itself. And by doing that, and to do this, I would probably get our technology and IT department involved and having them do some searching of the networks. I might probably question students and not necessarily just William Hall, maybe any other students who generally have some malaise for Miss Tate, and maybe other students that she has in class and say, are you aware of this? What do you know about it? And sometimes, just having general conversations with students. I would probably also contact Facebook and ask them to shut down the post, remove it, report it, and, depending upon the school district's policy, contact law enforcement and getting them involved. And then if I did feel that there were some students definitely involved, I would also contact their parents so that they are aware that there is an issue and that they could come in and be with their students if they wanted to. I would probably, at some point after we kind of pin down what's actually happened and who is responsible, hold a school assembly to address general digital citizenship and how we behave ourselves online, and how, when we do things that are inappropriate, how we portray a negative rapport for the school, and how when we post things online, those things never really go away. They really stick with us. So I feel like we would have assembly that would address digital citizenship. And I feel like we should also embed some digital citizenship in our curriculum, whether it be in existing classes or we hold a separate course for that, maybe in some of our technology courses. Ensure that digital citizenship is being taught and that it's being reinforced. And finally, I would probably get some support for Ms. Tate. Part of that support would involve professional development and building positive relationships with students, building realistic expectations for those students, how we interact with parents, and possibly even some support to deal with the aftermath of what do you do when you have been the victim of malice online or in the classroom. So the third category has to do with resolving the issues based upon what is best for all students. I feel like confidentiality is a big thing here. You can't just go pulling kids' names out of a hat and saying it was you and blaming you. So keeping that confidential piece in the back of our minds and being sure that we're not like pointing the finger at anybody or talking to others about it that maybe don't need to know what's going on just yet. I would also make sure the investigation was occurring without disruption to the instructional process that's happening at school. We can investigate these things while we continue to hold school and everything continue to operate in its usual manner. Along with the confidentiality piece, only involving those who need to know, and when you really drill down to who was involved, ensuring that other people are not getting access to information that they really don't need to have. I would use our technology department at great lengths to help us do some tracking students and online activity. And I would probably also get some professional development for Ms. Tate, kind of like I mentioned before, about some good instructional strategies and some ways to build strong, healthy relationships with students, because I feel like we have more than just the issue of the internet posting going on here. We also have some issues with some teaching and instructional strategies. So I feel like we can't overlook the fact that Ms. Tate does need some professional development help from the instructional leader. So to debrief the problem and to talk about what I was thinking, feeling, valuing. Well, initially I was thinking that Ms. Tate probably overreacted. The email or the final message says, who wants Ms. Tate to disappear? It didn't say, hey, we want her to die or we want to kill her. We're just saying, hey, we don't want her at the school anymore. So I don't know. Did she overreact? Did she not? I was also thinking, why wasn't law enforcement called? If she truly felt that this was a threat for her life, then she should have called law enforcement, and maybe Dr. Smith should have called law enforcement from the get-go as well. I also was thinking about, let's see if this was set up at school or using school-issued technology. If it was, then, we really need to get involved with this. If it not, it may not be an issue that we need to necessarily tackle here at school. I was feeling that it's probably going to be kind of hard to prove who did this. Sometimes it's really hard to track things down. Now, I'm hoping that our technology department would be good enough to be able to kind of help us with that. I feel that Dr. Smith really did the right thing in not overreacting when he was initially made aware of the situation. And I also felt like Dr. Smith needs to get Ms. Tate some professional development for her instructional strategies. I was also valuing through the whole thing that Ms. Tate had very high expectations for her students. I don't think that having high expectations is a bad thing. It just seems that maybe this was something that the parents and the students were not used to. And so I feel like maybe she was getting some backlash from having high expectations. And I also valued that Dr. Smith reassured her, Miss Tate, that he would investigate the situation first thing Monday morning. So, what are the unresolved issues? We still don't know who sent the email. We still don't know who created the Facebook page. And are we willing to dig deep into this? And if it happened to the school, are we prepared to handle the bad public relations that could come out of this? Because it's a very affluent community, and sometimes, they may not want the finger pointed at their child when they are saying, well, there's an issue with the teacher, but that doesn't necessarily constitute a child's bad behavior. So I'm just, want to make sure that the school is ready for what could come as an aftermath of determining who sent the email, who created the page, and who was doing the posting. And I still think it's unresolved as to whether this was a threat or it was just a prank, kids just kind of blowing off some steam. So reflecting on Standard 5, how did I, the educational leader of the building, apply knowledge that promoted the success of every student by acting with integrity? Well, treating the action as a serious action upholds the integrity of the school system, the integrity that our teachers should be respected and treated professionally. I also think investigating the situation before accusing anyone and immediately calling in the student that Miss Tate thinks that it is also holds up some integrity. And again, is the school prepared to handle the bad PR that could come out of this? So asking ourselves that and being prepared to issue a statement about the information or about the situation. And so, again, how did I apply knowledge by treating the success of students by acting fairly? I get a lot of the same things. Treating it as a serious action, no matter who it was, that it was serious. We need to investigate before we blatantly accuse anyone. Again, treating everyone the same. And that we continued class as usual. We upheld our standard of excellence for the educational process, ensures that every student was still going to be assured some sort of success. And how did I act in an ethical manner? Again, taking the action very seriously, investigating the situation before we were accusing anybody, helping Miss Tate investigate it, also by getting her some professional development, and maintaining confidentiality so that no student would be singled out or people would not necessarily know who the child may be that was responsible. And so by doing all those things, I really feel like by my proposed plan of action that we really would treat everyone with integrity and fairness, and we would act in an ethical manner. That's all I have. Thank you so much for watching.